Pepperpot soup carries a long, rich history in Jamaica, simmered for generations with roots in indigenous traditions and shaped by African influences. Today, we're making it closer to how my granny cooked it. Slow, layered flavors, and using the ingredients that gave her version its signature taste. Let's get right into it. Alright, let's start with the foundation of the soup, the proteins. A traditional Jamaican pepper pot usually begins with salted meat. Corn pork and corned beef can be used on their own or in combination. They add a deep cured flavor and historically they were affordable and kept well without refrigeration. Today I'm using salted pig's tail along with some fresh beef. Some older recipes also include seafood. Crab, shrimp, lobster are most commonly crayfish, known in Jamaica as janga. But I'm watching my calories, so we're skipping that today. Here I have about 8 ounces of salted pig's tail. Soaking it in hot water helps remove excess salt without losing too much flavor. For the beef, I'm using stewing cuts. Some of these are bone in. Now, this is where I'm going to depart slightly from the traditional method. Typically everything is simmered together, bones and all. But I want to build a deeper base, so I'm removing the bones and tendons and cutting the meat into bite-sized pieces. We can set that aside for now. For the beef bones, I'm going to lay these out on a baking tray. Now, this is where my version starts to differ a bit from the traditional approach. Instead of going straight into the pot, I'm roasting the bones at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. This step isn't typical in Jamaican pepper pot and it does take a bit more time, but it builds a much deeper, richer base for the soup. As the bones roast, the meat and connective tissue start to brown, and that's where a lot of flavor comes from. It also helps render out some of that fat so the final stock isn't too greasy and heavy. Once they're nicely brown, I'll transfer everything into a pot. If you want to skip this step, you can absolutely use a good quality store-bought beef broth. But if you have the time, this is really worth it. To start building that stock, I'm adding a few key aromatics. A cup of diced onions, a whole head of peeled garlic, a cup of diced carrot, 2 stalks of chopped scallion, and about a tablespoon of pimento or allspice. Then I'll top it off with water. This will reduce quite a bit as it cooks, so don't be shy. I'm using roughly 2 liters here. Bring that up to a boil, then drop it to a simmer and let it go for a few hours. If you're short on time, a pressure cooker works great. You can cut that time down significantly. Otherwise, this is a very hands-off step. You can just let it do its thing. Once it's done, we'll remove the bones, and that gives us a really solid base to build our pepper pot soup. I deviated earlier, but now we return to tradition. We took a bit of liberty with the stock, but this next part, that's where the heart of the soup really comes together. Let's start by adding back that deboned beef we set aside earlier, about 8 ounces. We'll also add our desalted pig's tail that we cut into bite-sized pieces for consistency. A key ingredient in Jamaican pepper pot is coconut milk. I'm adding a cup now so it can start developing those deeper nuttier flavors. I'm also adding about 2 cups of water. This has already reduced quite a bit and it will continue to reduce as it cooks. Bring that up to a boil, then let it simmer until the meat becomes tender. While that's going, let's talk about an ingredient that used to be so much more common in Jamaican cooking. This is dasheen, also known as taro. There are a lot of related plants, but one way to identify dasheen is that reddish spot at the center of the leaf. Dasheen has been a staple in Jamaican kitchen for generations, and it played a major role in older versions of pepper pot soup. The leaves are soft and tender when cooked, and they bring a deep earthy flavor. The tuber itself is starchy and helps give the soup body. You will see related plants like cocoa and bado used. Bado has larger, more leathery leaves without that red center and much bigger tubers. No, you do have to be very careful with these. Raw dasheen can be very irritating, especially the leaves. If they are not cooked properly, you can end up with very itchy mouth and throat, so these need to be fully cooked before eating. For this recipe, I'm using the tender inner stalks and leaves. We sometimes call this dasheen bush. I'm going to chop about 2 cups of the leaves along with some of that dasheen we trimmed earlier. Dasheen bush is not the only greens used in pepper pot. Callaloo is also very common, probably the most popular option today. There's also another greens that shows up in older pepper pot recipes, something called Indian kale. I heard that my grandmother used it a lot, but I haven't been able to pin down exactly what it is. If you know Indian kale, leave a comment. I would love to learn more. For today, I'm using about 3 cups of chopped callaloo. Like the dasheen, it adds that earthy green backbone to the soup. Pepper pot also makes use of a variety of starchy root vegetables. That dasheen from earlier, we're using some of it. Just going to dice it into bite-sized pieces. Yellow yam, I'm going to dice a piece of that too. I'm going to wash and keep it submerged under water so they don't brown too much. You don't want to add any acid like vinegar or lime juice to this. Once we add it to the hot water, that color will come back. There are plenty of other options. Pumpkin, chocho, cocoa. But I'm keeping it focused and using what I enjoy the most. For now, let's check back in on the pot. The meat is nice and tender now, so from here things will move a bit quicker. For an extra layer of flavor, I'm adding a tablespoon of green seasoning. I'll link a full guide below. Now we can start building the body of the soup. About 8 ounces of dasheen, 8 ounces of yellow yam, and the dasheen bush. Follow that with about 2 cups of callaloo. It might look like a lot now, but these greens will cook down quickly. And again, make sure those dasheen leaves are fully cooked before tasting. Now is a great time to adjust the water level, so I'm adding another cup of water. Jamaican Pepperpot soup is usually on the lighter side, more like a broth than other local soups. Next up, bird pepper. This is something you don't see as often anymore, but it has a long history in Jamaican cooking. These small, extremely hot peppers often grow wild. Their seeds can stay dormant in the soil for years, and they tend to pop up when land is cleared. They are what you would call volunteer plants. They have a more herbal, slightly wild flavor compared to cultivated peppers with a sharp, intense heat. And just to be clear, these are not the same as bird's eye chili, even though they look similar. A few smashed peppers, about 4, is enough to bring a good level of heat to the whole pot. For a bit more seasoning, I'm adding about 2 tablespoons of all-purpose seasoning. We've already built a solid base, so this is optional. Next, I'm adding another cup of coconut milk. This layers that creamier coconut flavor over the nuttiness of the first cup we added earlier. It wasn't an intentional choice, I just thought it needed more coconut milk and it worked out really well, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. I'm also adding spinners. These dumplings show up in some of the oldest pepper pot recipes, but that doesn't mean you can't skip them if you want. Spinners are simply flour and water mixed to form a dough. To make a spinners, grab a small piece of dough and rub it between your palms to form a thin dumpling. Some recipes include cornmeal and salt, but for me the salt is unnecessary. I make my spinners thin enough so the soup seasons them. They will thicken the soup slightly, so keep that in mind. The soup is almost there. This next step is optional, but it's still an option, so let's talk about it because I like what it does. I'm taking about 2 cups of the liquid and blending it with a handful of callaloo. This helps to thicken the soup slightly, spread that flavor evenly, and really deepen that green color. Our soup is almost set now, so let's add some fresh aromatics to elevate it. A sprig of fresh thyme because dry thyme is a scam, a whole scotchy for that beautiful aromatic scotch bonnet flavor, a stalk of chopped scallion, about half a dozen sliced okra. Then we will add back that blended callaloo. Wow, this smells incredible. Now is a great time to taste and make adjustments. This needs a bit more salt. I desalted the pig's tail a little too well. Usually you want the salted meat to season the pot. And to finish, some freshly ground black pepper. It's kinda hard to describe how good this smells. Those fresh aromatics are waking up. That's beautiful. It's a bit thicker than a traditional pepper pot, but I like it that way. I prefer my soups on the thicker side, but you have a lot of freedom to make it your own. If you want it lighter, just scale back on the starch. Less yam, less dasheen, and fewer spinners. So, enough yapping. I'm going to taste this and give you the verdict. That is it. The first thing that hits you is how fresh it tastes. Green, earthy, herbal, and so aromatic. At the same time, it's deeply savory from the meat and that bone broth. It's rich but still manages to feel light. And even though it's called pepper pot, the heat is balanced. It doesn't overpower the dish. I've made pepper pot before, but this one has a different kind of depth. Taking the time to do it right and using some of those original ingredients like dasheen and bird pepper really elevated this. A regular viewer has been requesting this recipe for forever, so here it is. Drop a comment so I can tag you. I am Nick and this has been delicious. Shout out to our patrons who keep the kitchen cooking. Thank you for watching. Bless up and I'll catch you in the next one.